Hello everyone, my name is Mohsin Ali and you are watching Global Scope News. Today I am going to talk about a very important issue. We are going to deep into the Donald Trump promises for his second term as president. Trump has already laid out many bold ideas for what he will do once back in the White House, from the economy to immigration and even his views on international conflicts. Trump. Trump has a lot planned. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated on events happening in the political world. Don't miss out on what's coming next. Seven things. Seven things Trump says he will do as president. We are discussing 7 points. Donald Trump is back in the race, for he is already made it clear that if he wins, he plans to make sweeping changes to the country. Here are 7 major promises Trump had made about what he will do during the second term in the office. One of Trump's most famous promises is to close the border between the US and Mexico. He wants to continue building the wall that started during his first term. The wall has been a highly controversial topic while Trump supporters believes it it will protect the country from illegal immigration. Many critics argue that it will be an ineffective and costly solution. Trump has also promised to take actions immediately after taking office to stop illegal immigration. He has pledged to make sure that people coming into the country illegally will be sent back. The numbers of people crossing the southern border hit records highs under the Biden's administration. Yeah, it's true. But Trump believes that his tough policies will bring this to an end. However, building a wall is not as easy as it sounds. Experts believe that completing the wall would face serious legal and logistical challenges. Many argue that it would not be effective in reducing illegal immigration and that it would only waste taxpayers' money. There are also concerns about the impact it would have on local communities, wildlife, and the environment. Trump has promised to biggest mass deportation in the US history. He believes that those who are in the US illegally should be removed as quickly as possible. While this may sound like a simple plan, it would be an extremely difficult process. Deporting millions of people would take a lot of resources and it could be very destructive and also economic. Many of the people living in the US illegally are working in essential industries. Taking them out of the workforce could cause huge disruption, especially in agriculture, construction, and also healthcare. There are also huge legal hurdles to overcome in order to deport so many people. The cost of carrying the cost of carrying out such a large scale deportations would be atmospheric. And many people believe that the country should instead focus on reforming immigration laws to help people who are already here. Some critics argue that mass deportations would tear apart families and communities. Trump has promised to make the US economy stronger and more stable. He believes that cutting taxes for businesses will help create more jobs and stimulate economic growth. During his first term, he implemented major tax cuts for corporations, and he says he will extend these cuts if he wins again. The goal of these tax cuts is to make the US more competitive in the global market. By lowering taxes and businesses, Trump Trump hopes to encourage companies to invest in the US economy and bring jobs back from overseas. However, critics argue that these tax cuts mainly benefits the wealthy and that they don't help average Americans. Some economics believes that cutting taxes too much will lead to a rise in national debt and could cause the government to cut funding for important services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Trump also promises to bring back jobs that were lost during the pandemic. But many argue that the global supply chain and technological changes are factors beyond the president's control. Inflation. Inflation is a big concern for many Americans. Prices on everything, from groceries to gas, have gone up over the past few years, and many people are struggling to make ends meet. Trump has promised to bring inflation down during his second term. He says he will do this by making changes to the economy such as cutting taxes and reducing government spending. But but the reality is that inflation is a complex issue. While the president has some control over inflation, it's often influenced by things outside of his control, such as global supply chain issues, rising oil prices, and economic policies in other countries. Trump may be able to influence inflation through his policies, but there are no guarantees. Many economists argue that the president's powers to directly affect inflation are very limited, and they warn that inflation may not come down as quickly as he promises. Many the US energy independence. Another promise Trump has made is to increase the productions of fossil fuels in the US. He wants he wants to make America energy independent so that the country doesn't rely on other countries for oil and gas. Trump has said that he will open up more areas for drilling and focus on producing more oil and natural gas. This includes opening up places like the architects. While many people agree with the idea of energy independence, environmentalists argue that this plan could harm the environment and contribute to climate change. Trump has also been critical of, of the push for electric vehicles and clean energy. He believes that renewable energy sources like wind and solar power are unreliable and costly. By focusing on fossil oils, Trump says he will bring down energy prices. But many experts are not sure that this will happen. Critics argue that this focus on fossil fuels could be damaging to the environment and will halt efforts to fight climate change. Trump has criticized the US government's involvement in the war in Ukraine. He believes that the US has spent too much money supporting Ukraine and that's time to stop. He has promised that if he wins, he will end the war within just 24 hours. While that sounds bold, it's unclear how he plans to achieve this. Ending a war requires careful diplomacy and negotiations, and it's not easy to simply stop a conflict that involves major world powers like Russia and NATO countries. Trump has not given much details on how he plans to end the war, but his statement has raised concerns among some experts. They warn that pulling the US out of the conflict too quickly could embolden Russia and make the situation worse. While Trump's stance on Ukraine is very clear, it remains to be seen if his approach will be as effective as he claims. Finally, Trump has made it very clear that he would consider parad- pardoning people who were convicted of crimes related to the January 6th Capitol riots. He has referred to these individuals as political prisoners and has promised to free them. This is one of the Trump's most controversial promises. The January 6th riot was a major attack on American democracy, and many people's believes that those responsible should be held accountable. Trump supporters believes he that the people who took who took the part of the riots were justified in their actions and that they were simply protesting the election results. Critics argue that Trump's words are an attempt to downplay the violence and to protect those who try to overturn a fair election. This is a highly division issue in American politics, and it's very clear that Trump's decisions to pardon these individuals would spark more controversy. So, those are the major promises Donald Trump has made for his second term as president. His plans are bold and will undoubtedly lead in significant changes in the country. But whether or not they will be successful is still unclear. There are many challenges ahead, from legal issues to political oppositions. Some of his promises might be achievable, but others could be more difficult to implement than he thinks. What do you think about Trump's promises? Will he be able to deliver on these plans, or will he face too many challenges? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to Global Scope News for more updates on political and all the important events that happen around the world. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, take care.